Hello there. Today I'll just quickly go over the board game that I've created called Run-Droid-Run. It's pretty straightforward, uh, just a regular board game, very similar to that of Life, with a good Mario Party mix into it. To explain the number of people, it's a maximum of 5 people per game. You can play it with anything as low as 3, so 3 to 5 people. 4 people can play as the onboard characters, which will be called, they're just the droids. And the fifth person will be a special character, which I'll go into some detail a little bit later. Um, so creating this game, I had to incorporate elements of life into it. It's the board game that I bought to place the custom mat on. So I decided to incorporate the spinning wheel instead of using dice. It's a nice mechanism. It's easy to use. I did try to. You see this gash. I was trying to cut through it, but I didn't have anything good enough. But I will be cutting this off right here through the middle. I don't need any of this. I won't be using it. So just the spinner is what I care about. We'll be using the same money that was already in the life game, although this K for K as in thousand will be, think of it as ignored. I'm calling it credits, so that's the only change there. And these are all my custom cards. Here we have the cards for the Overseer class. Here we'll have challenge cards, which will be tied to these question marks. So if you land on one of these, you have to take a challenge. We've got special cards and weapon cards. These can both be purchased for the droids to be used in game. The Overseer's other main job will actually be the bank teller. So they'll have full control over the money and selling these cards. These cards can be purchased from these vend. This stands for vending machine, sort of. So if a player passes by it, even if they have multiple moves left, they can always stop at a vending machine and purchase weapon cards, special cards along the way. So let me get into the actual board and what we're seeing here. So here I've also incorporated the life models for now. I didn't have time to create custom models, but it actually had a good idea. So looking at this, we can imagine the car is going to act as the character model, and these little people, I decided to use these as a good telling mark for my game incorporates health points, HP. So each one of these will represent a single HP, 1 through 6. 6 being the maximum, 0. I'll get into what that means in a second, but it doesn't. There's pink and blue, but it doesn't matter. They both mean the same thing. So that's the repurpose that. So here we can see the start point, and the map actually goes through the blue, around the red, through up and down the green, and then a couple circles through the yellow, and ultimately we end here. Finish. So you see start, finish right up here. Okay. So getting into the map, we can see landing on any of these gray fields do nothing. These are blank fields. They don't do anything. C stands for credit, which credit is currency. So every time you land on these, it's free currency. There's 2 different versions. Here's the regular. You can see up here there's a 2-time marker. That stands for double. So here, these give 200 credits, and this would incorporate and turn into 400 credits. What we see here is what I call an elemental box, square, whatever. Each section has its own different emblem, but they all mean the same thing. So here we'll see this white and blue snowflake, and I can't remember off the top of my head exactly how much damage. I believe it's just a single damage mark, maybe 2. Every time a player lands on one of these, we can see the snowflake there, fire here, I created these like claw marks here, like a jungle theme, and then the thunderbolt theme here. So each one of those indicate player takes damage from landing on it. Here we have a question mark or a challenge mark. So anytime a player lands on this is when they will draw a card from the challenge deck. Here we have a couple different things. We have mini games, and we also have sort of free cards that give free credit and free weapons. Let me open it up just so we can see it. So here we see a head spin card, and let me focus it. I can't quite focus the video, but mission: grab a bat or any size pole and spin your head on it 20 times, then immediately do 2 push-ups. So these challenges aren't meant to be overly difficult. They're just meant to get you out of your seat and get you moving. Just to get you something funny to do. Most of these challenges are quite simple. The 3 pyramids. Mission: create 3 pyramids like the image above. Time: you have 1 minute, and they all have payouts, so rewards to complete them. There's multiple types. So you will see free credits, we'll see free weapons. These are all just gained through these random question marks that are all over the map. We also have these green squares. This stands for health. This replenishes your health by half, so it's 3. Each time you land on them, you get 3 health back. Even if you have taken only 2 damage, then you'll be filled up. If you've taken, if you only have 2 health points left, then you go up to 5. So just plus 3. That's basically what's on the board. We also have this orange. So this indicator, which is also my sort of my theme. This is, my logo for the game, basically. This stands for golden cogs. Golden cogs are sort of the main objective of this game. Think of like Mario Party's stars. The objective is to collect as many as possible. So at each stop, and each stop is at the end of a section. So once you get through the blue section, the frozen section, here's one. Get through the fire, there's one, green one, and then at the end of the game. So, sorry. So you want to collect. So here you can basically stop and purchase them. What this does is it makes characters have to decide between, do I use my credits to purchase weapons and special abilities, and you have to make sure you have enough every time you get to this point, because a golden cog will cost you 1,000 credits to purchase. And if you want to purchase, because each one of these give you the possibility of purchasing 2, but the second one is at a higher price, 1,500 credits instead of 1,000. This is to force you to, if you want to invest more into the cogs, then you'll have to save up more efficiently and have to decide whether or not you want to focus offensive or be a collector. So that's just a nice mechanic I added to give sort of purpose, so that when you reach the end of the game, right, you will automatically gain a large deposit, something like 2,000 to 3,000 credits automatically, and a single free golden cog. So a player can max out at 9 golden cogs, but only if they get to the end first. Now, in an instance where players are equal in terms of number of golden cogs, then their credits will determine the winner. It's a tiebreaker. So players can, yes, you definitely want to get to the end first, but you can also win the game if you manage to tie up and beat them in credits. So it's important to have good credit control. Again, this is even though this game is finished, it's still what I would consider a prototype. There's a lot of things that would rework or change, or a lot of playtime would be necessary to find out the quirks, but that's the basis of the game. Off the top of my head, I don't believe there's anything else to cover. So, thank you, and hopefully you enjoyed it. Okay, so 2 things I didn't go over that I said I was going to. One being the Overseer. So to better explain what the Overseer is, he's kind of just a pseudo position. The purpose of it in the game is, for one, just for fun, something unique. I wanted to have a 5th player option. they are not necessary to have in the game. The bank teller can be replaced by any player; it does not matter. But the overseer has sort of specific things that he can do. He's mostly just there, really, just to mess with the players. Um, you'll see through some of these things. So like a laser fence, this slows him down, and we've got certain weapons. Just basically his whole creation was just to mess with the droids. Sort of the theme around that was sort of like a manager supervisor who would just ruin your day. So overseers are really just there to mess with you, but they also have the job of being the bank teller and the vendor. So they take care of a lot of the extra work that would be kind of annoying to have another player, while concentrating on the game, have to worry about. So the overseer kind of relieves that and also adds sort of a really fun spin and element to the game. It's also fun when I'm explaining it or playing it with new people, and I can just sit there and mess with them while they're trying to figure it out. It's very fun. The other thing I want to go over quickly is the weapons and how that's used in the game and why we have HP points on characters. So anytime a player reaches 0 on their HP points, they are stunned in place for a single round or for their next round. So basically they get skipped. The way a player reaches 0 can either be from the elemental damage they can take, or more likely from other players. So this game incorporates PvP. The weapons in this game, let me see if I can grab one real quick. So like this landmine, single-use weapon card. Let me see if I can focus. So damage, it does 3 damage. The ability, place it down on your current location. Any enemies who step over it lose -3 subsequent moves. So aside from just taking damage, many weapon cards also have little abilities attached to them. So just to make them a little more fun, just a little bit different. So there's, I believe 4 different weapon cards. So players can purchase these weapon cards from vendors, or they can acquire them for free from the challenge cards. And that's just another thing to keep in mind. That this game does feature PvP, and it also features a 5th player, like a unique 5th player. And thank you. Yeah.